What's up, everybody? This is Rob Shack. So today we're going back to Gran Turismo 4, get my playthrough going again, and after playing all the Halo and everything. Thank y'all for letting me do that for a while. That was a good time. So we are back. We are going to be using the Mazda RX-8 Concept LM race car. We are going to be still going along with my strategy where I'm trying to use every car in the game to win something. Every car that I win, I want to win some sort of race with it. So we're going to use the Mazda RX-7 LM race car in the Club RE race, and we'll have a good time with this one. So this should be easy, not too bad. Trying to get enough money to use cars that are not very good in other races. That's kind of what I realized here, is there's a lot of races that we're going to need other cars. So I'm going to try to get a lot of money here to make it work. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Help me get to 1,000 subs. I realized that this challenge is kind of much more difficult because I had just won a Honda Life step van with 20 horsepower, so we're gonna have to use that in something. It should be a challenge. I'm also, I wonder if it counts if I quit the race. Does that count as a day? I want the like 1-1S, that like Cosmo in every race, because that thing is crazy and can't control itself to save its life. This is not a championship, I'm realizing now, which is probably good. So let's see if that counted as a day. I'm gonna go look in the little thing. But yeah. Mazdas are great. Okay, good. It did not count as a day. Alright, so yeah, but we're gonna use this car. We have a lot. We're gonna try to get through a lot of the one-make races with cars that are underpowered, get those out of the way. But that requires tuning up a lot of cars. For example, hope y'all enjoyed over the last few. When I did the races in this game, I was using the Honda S500 or S800 or whatever to win a race that it was very underpowered in, but it was fun to do that. I couldn't believe I won that. So as we were challenged, that car did not have a lot of horsepower. So there's a lot of Mazda RX-7s in this game. I just realized that. That is quite significant there. We have Mazda, a lot of different types of Mazdas. So I'm realizing now that we'll just kind of go through this as normal. I am using the RX-8 LM concept race car thing. It's based on the Mazda RX-8 concept Type II, I believe. My car is already very close to passing people, so I'll take this a little bit slow. Should be fine. But yeah. It's a good game, very good game. I forgot how much I actually liked GT4 because I've played GT3 so much because it's amazing. But I'm like, yeah, Gran Turismo 4 is basically the Gran Turismo 2 of... GT4 to 3 is what 2 is to 1, where it's just essentially the same type of graphics, slightly more refined and polished, but much better graphics, or sorry, much better car selection. 4 just has a million zillion cars. There's so many cars in Gran Turismo 4. And they did the kind of GT2 duplication thing, but not as bad as in GT2, because like all these cars are actually like different, as opposed to GT2 where the cars all sound the same, but they just have a different spec. Like, this game is like, there's so many different cars. It's incredible. I do wish that they brought back some of the cars from GT2 into 4. They really didn't do that very much. Like, they kind of did. But there was a lot of cars in Gran Turismo 2 that I feel like should have come back in 4. But they totally didn't bring them back. So, that's fine, I guess. But it's just interesting how they, like... Obviously, they had to add newer cars because that's the thing about Gran Turismo 4 is it was, like, 7 years after Gran Turismo 2. So, like, yeah, a lot of cars had come out since then. I'm glad they added those cars. But I'm like... You couldn't bring back the Suzuki Cultist? Like, come on. That thing's amazing. So, that's just kind of where I'm at with that. But, yeah, this game is incredible. It's just cool to play through a game like this again. It's cool to go back to GT4 because it has really been a long time since I've played this game. It's also interesting that the Mazda from 90 or 85 is still holding second in this race. So, I don't really know what their strategy is with how they make these races work. I kind of wish it was a championship, honestly, because yeah, obviously the RX-7 Spirit Type A. This was like that was like the last Mazda RX-7 that was made. So obviously it's gonna be the best one. So that doesn't surprise me that it's in the lead and that it's actually getting further away. But It is funny how the other RX-7s are like stuck behind this 80s one that seems to be doing just fine. Now that I pass him, of course, he's gonna start doing terrible because that's just how that works. But like, yeah, forgot how to drive cars in this game. Okay, there we go. We're fine. We're fine. We'll find it. But yeah, Mazda's Gran Turismo 4. It's a great game. I'm glad to be back to it. I've obviously enjoyed. I've been enjoying playing Halo Infinite and playing through all the campaigns before that. So we're doing great. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back, continuing along in my walkthrough. A lot of other people were also doing walkthroughs at the time, so I don't want to compete with other people as much. So I'm like, I'll just do what is best for my channel, I think. But yeah, we killed it. Mazda RX-8 concept is a very good car. I'm a little bit tentative about how I used this car so early, but I'm like, it's still so early in the thing that I think I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be able to get through a lot of other cars and a lot of other race cars, you know, to get... I want to basically, I mean, I've said this before, I want to use all the cars in the game that I unlock to do things. So I'm burning the RX-8 early, but I don't really mind it because the RX-8 is great, but I'm also going to get a lot of other race cars in this game. So, yeah, it's cool to see a Mazda. That's the Gen 2 RX-7, I believe. RX-7 G Limited FC J85. So, yeah, that seems like maybe that is still Gen 1. The front looks like a Gen 2 one, but it also just, I think it is a Gen 1 one. That looks like a Savannah RX-7 Infiniti, like from the 90s, but they also might just all look like that. So this could be a Gen 1 one, but yeah, Spirit R Type A is like the final hurrah. I'm pretty sure they stopped making the RX-7 in 2002, so they just made like the crazy fast one that just destroys everything, and that's why that one is so good. But yeah, we have the RX-7 Type RS from 2000. We have an RX-7 Type R from 93, which, I mean, again, that looks, except for the lights being a solid thing, they look exactly the same. And then there's the RX-7 Type RZ, which I've seen the RZ in like every Gran Turismo, and sometimes they're only black. Sometimes I don't know what happens with that, but yeah, it seems like the only thing that's different is the way the brake lights look. But the car really looks almost exactly the same forever. It's just that the lights on the back are slightly different, and that's it. Cars are very similar. And again, Type R, like, what is that versus RS Type versus Type RZ? Like, I don't know. I don't know the difference, honestly, between any of those. But it is crazy how the RS is not really gaining on the RX-7 GT Limited. You'd think that if its name is GT Limited, it wouldn't be that good. But also because it's like 15 years older than the one that's right behind it. But he seems to do fine. I love that rotary engine sound too. It's just fantastic. So, yeah. And then I come barreling through because I'm a freaking race car. So I'm flying through everybody. And I thought I could pass all of them on that straight, but I definitely couldn't. I also hit the back Type RZ, and he still didn't even gain. So yeah, like it seems like they all basically are just the same car. And the RX-7 G Limiteds are tuned up to whatever the other ones are at. I mean, it seems like all the RX-7s are at basically like 280, 276 is like the number, but they seem to have a little more than that. So they probably tuned up the RX-7 GT Limited just right up to that, which is why nobody's really gaining or passing anybody. Even though now, because of course I passed, the Type RS is gaining on the G Limited, but I saw the little ending. He didn't pass him, so yeah. Passing in this game is rough for the AI, which is hilarious because I guess the B spec is in there, and that's kind of what makes that a thing. But if you thought the AI couldn't pass well in GT3, it's so much worse in 4. So it just turns into like, that's part of the reason why they switched the lineup to fit whatever car is fastest and put them in front, or else it'll not be hard for the player at all, and already isn't that hard for the player, so I think that's why they did that. But it is crazy to think that they literally kept this exact same design for the RX-7 for like 10 years almost, because this is a 93, and that's a 2002, and they look so similar. The only difference is the lights and the slight, I think the spoiler is slightly different. Yeah, there's no spoiler on the 93 one, but again, really doesn't look any different. It's kind of cool that they knew it was a good look, and the RX-7 is fantastic in its design. So, not too hard for today, but we're getting back into it. We're gonna finish up the RX-7 races over the next month or so, and then continue along. Thank y'all again so much for watching. I hope y'all have enjoyed these videos, and hope y'all enjoyed playing Halo, mixing it up a little bit. But yeah, we're going through it. We'll see you again next week. Peace.